Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our podcast dedicated to sight reading through the lens of the historically informed performance practice. My name is Darina
and I'm Sebastien.
Fasnacht is coming, and today we have a special episode dedicated to this old Swiss tradition. And we have a guest. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Kevin Klapka. I'm very thankful for the invitation. We just know each other since maybe 2 years, something from maybe our repair shop. I'm employed. I'm repairing woodwind and brass instruments. Since a couple of years, I'm specialized for all kinds of flutes, repairing and selling new instruments. We also build the Basel piccolos we use at Fasnacht, and they're doing some parts of it. I'm finishing bodies, I'm tuning the bodies and making head joints of one of the models we make.
Every time I come to your workshop, it's like
big mess.
No, it's like a mysterious place with a fantastic flute collection, and I always try all the flutes that I see there, and you kindly allow me to do that.
Of course, they're here to be played.
Yes, so also during our conversations, I discovered that you played Basler piccolo since you were child. So could you tell us about this experience?
Maybe before that, we could just inform people who are not from Switzerland or South Germany
what Fasnacht
is.
Yeah.
Yes. Could you tell us a little bit?
I had many impressions being in America, where Americans describe other people that never saw Fasnacht what it's like. So I'm actually for the first step, very interested in how you describe it and what it is for you, or what you see when you if you're in downtown and see going to lights out and all the lanterns and playing. And
I've seen it a couple of times before the pandemic situation, and yes, I was quite impressed. Everybody was talking about Fasnacht around. Fasnacht is coming soon. It's approaching. Like, run away. But yes, it was quite colorful and spectacular, and I couldn't have expected that you go at 4 a.m. on the street and all the lights are off, and it's a very exciting moment, and then something starts, some kind of an event, and then the music starts, and it continues for 3 days, different direction, different bands, and it's all like a very colorful mixture in the air, and the air is just like making music, and it sounds from everywhere. And yeah, I would say it's a crazy, but in a good way, crazy experience.
Yeah, I think we are when it starts at Monday morning on 4 o'clock a.m., we are at the closest place where this was maybe about the same than 100 years ago, and that's very special if you do this still since your childhood. So maybe especially after this break of 2 years where Fasnacht didn't happen, so this could be a very energetic moment again to feel it, because normally people do Fasnacht for their whole life. So people that are 60 years old do Fasnacht since 50 years, So this is really getting into a normal process, doing this every year. And I really try to see different places, do different things, to really get to see it from every possible corner, which makes it, still very interesting.
But do you know something about the tradition, where it comes from, and maybe something from older times, 16th century, I don't know, Renaissance?
And also, I mean, it's kind of interesting because it's a week before the other sort of Carnival situations,
It's
or is it a week
after? Yeah.
Right. And now UNESCO has claimed it as like an intangible heritage
Yeah,
thing, right?
but there are the reasons for that, and it comes from the Catholic Church, where Basel also was part of, and then after this, when Reformation started, I think it was kind of a opposite position where this traditional Fasnacht had to do it differently than probably everybody else. The Fasnacht we know it from today is about 100 years old. So there is a committee that is organizing a cortege, a parade on Monday and Wednesday afternoon. And this started, I think, in 1911. That's at least the year where the committee was built for the first time. And that's at least the time we know where these pieces are played, we show today. And it's not very historically written how much further back it goes, at least with the piccolo playing. So it's really difficult to find out when they actually started to use playing piccolo at Fasnacht. It may started with some French Revolution time with military music they brought to Basel. Badly enough, there are people that know much more about the historic background. I'm very interested in, but I really never started to read more things about that I actually should, because I think it's quite important and very interesting.
But that's also very interesting that the flute in itself, the Basler piccolo, is a simple system flute, pre-Böhm model with keys. So it's a keyed flute, and I played my master recital on a similar one, but the big one. And I played Schubert and Hummel. We did also together with you, Sebastien. So it is a very... Let's say I met an old friend in the body of this new instrument, and it was a very interesting experience to try it and to play on this instrument. But I'm not so used to the culture of the embouchure and maybe intonation. And also, you are coming from a modern flute, right? You were studying modern flute.
I play modern flute, but I started playing the concert flute much later than I played the piccolo. So I started, I think, when I was 6 or 7, playing this Basel 6-key system piccolo, and maybe with 12 I started playing the concert flute. So I'm still today much closer to this reduced system, because I don't know, it's maybe I do it for so long. I can use it as a chromatical piccolo because I practiced on it so much. So I feel still more at home on this piccolo than on the flute, strangely.
That's our common point, I would say. Yes, but for how many years have you been playing this Fasnacht piccolo already?
I'm 37 today. I'm turning 37 this year, so I'm playing since 30 years.
It's your birthday today?
No, I'm turning this year.
How do your neighbors feel about practicing the piccolo?
Well, it's quite normal in this city that you have neighbors that either drum or play piccolo. Right. So normally it's absolutely okay. Yeah.
Great.
I usually play and practice at work, where this noise comes out anyhow from this building. So I probably would feel bad to practice at home after 6 o'clock. So I do it at work.
Great. So today we have an interesting collection of pieces to present. Maybe first we would talk about this solo piece that you played for us. And maybe you could read the title of that, and maybe you could tell about the song in itself and what you know about it.
I try to find out how all the pieces, I don't really know, but there's a guy, Otiwik, that wrote a drum part to it, and because of that it must come from the late 60s or 70s, so 1970 around. Actually, the piece, luckily, that's the name of the tune, which is that famous cookie, you know. Not a very creative name, but it's very common. Duri Schmid is the composer of the piece, and I'm not quite sure, but I think somebody told me that he was an organ player from the minstrel in Basel. I don't know if he really did that for a full profession, but at least for that period of time where the pieces is coming from, I think it's already pretty good written and also good written for playing it on the Basel piccolo. So it has two very nice harmony parts, the second and the third part. Under that first part I'm recording. It's one of my favorite pieces. I don't know, it's, you know, I know it since I'm a very small kid, so this is really in my brain since I can think, or even longer.
Does it have some kind of a text, or
no,
not really?
It never has
instrumental.
text. Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, I often use it because I think it's very it has different things in it, and always when I use it, I really like to not repeat the every 8 measures, because it's going into that long and boring walking thing that you know from Fasnacht, and it's mostly played quite slowly. So I also like to do different things with the same pieces and you know, play it inside for whatever people who like the music, and then leave out the repeats, the repetitions it has on every piece. I don't know where that comes from. Probably also from classical music, that you repeat every 8 measures.
I felt also that maybe it comes from Renaissance songs, because they had verses, and every couplet you would change something maybe, or put some ornaments, and that's what I felt
do that, yeah.
Where when we played this song. Which one was that? From the older collection that you have.
Die alten Schweizer Märsche.
And what do you know about this collection? It's the oldest that you have, right?
I think it's some of the oldest music we know from Switzerland. And they were putting this together. It's about 7 minutes of music. I don't know how many verses, maybe about 13 or so. And it's put together from very different songs that didn't were meant to be played in one piece, and because of that, it's really nice today to have it in one piece, because it's really known as a medley that every kid plays in at Fasnacht. Yeah.
So these are quite old melodies. Like how old? But then the arrangement was made in the 20th century.
Yes, exactly. I have a collection of old piccolo pieces, and that's from, I think, 1812. That's a piccolo ordonnance from the Swiss military. And some of them are in there, so at least it's that old.
Okay, Napoleonic influences.
Yes, I could totally feel that. And you listened that from outside?
I was the listener, yes, a humble listener.
So, what did you think of this old collection? Because for me, it sounded really like really old songs, and I could have imagined that with some ornaments, some extra trills, like there's a singer behind.
Well, I think the first thing I noticed was really the instrument is quite soft. Like it's not a harsh sound.
I really tried to play it like this because
well,
it's really a street instrument.
Right.
So it was actually built to be loud and also compete to all the drummers you have in your back.
Of course.
So normally a clique has about 20 or 30 drummers and maybe more piccolo players than that. So you really need to be heard on street. And I really like it to use it also as an indoor instrument.
Yeah.
And for that you really need to play softer.
So it has the capability of
to be very loud,
subtle and like that was my first reaction. And the music is yes, it does have a military character, definitely. Like there's no avoiding it. But I like these songs. They definitely bring you back to something. And
so do you think it could be Renaissance or Baroque, or what do you think?
I think it really sounds like turn of the 19th century, like 1790s, 1810.
I would say something even from the 18th century. I would.
Yeah. But
like
later 18th century.
Yeah, later 18th century. I would totally, I could see that.
But I don't know enough military music.
Yeah, but it also could come into the military field, into the
from
military.
Folk music.
Exactly, from folk or from city songs.
For sure.
Yeah, these kind of things, chansons.
We really show the military music we have. I mean, all the other composers that were written pieces for Fasnacht, I don't know if they really were trying to get rid of the military thing, because we still walk to it, but there are a couple of, maybe 10 composers that were important for Fasnacht that, really not taking care of writing more military music. So there is a lot of more harmonic, more interesting harmonic music for Fasnacht than this. So it had a really, I think, an interesting Entwicklung.
Development.
Through the last 100 years. Yeah.
Yeah, because actually this tradition, we don't need military music anymore. We don't use it in everyday life, let's say. So, the tradition remained, but it changed the direction, let's say. That's why it's not so maybe aggressive anymore.
But I learned something today, which I really thought that all the Fasnacht music was from the 19th century. But now I hear that some of the most famous collections are actually from the 60s, and I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, but I also I think I can imagine that, and maybe I even heard it somewhere, that this tradition was known also in the 16th century, where they had this where people played flutes, traversi, with drums.
Of course.
And probably they would also
William Byrd, flute and drum.
Yeah, and there's this website that is a very secret one that Liane Ehrlich is running with all this iconography and...
Why is it secret? Can we not mention this on the podcast?
I think we can mention that, but maybe if you would like to visit the website, you need to contact Liane and she will guide you.
I mean, we have this picture, and this could be 1800 at least, when
yes,
maybe earlier,
they're holding the Renaissance Traversi, simple, yeah, and the Schrift, the font is definitely, I mean, I think it's kind of, it's a style, let's say, they create this collection in the style of 16th century, but yes, that's for sure. We can see this in iconography, or like I think in St. Gallen there is, or in Bern there is this print also with 4 men playing Renaissance Traversi, and they are all different age. It shows also the steps of a human life. And then also I was thinking, why can't we bring our early romantic traverse to its own original music? And then I just grabbed from home a collection of duets by De Vienne. I actually really like how he looks. He's great.
Yeah. Very handsome fellow.
And we just tried, and we picked one rondo to sight read.
It's quite nice. It was very nice, actually. I really enjoyed it.
Yes. Yeah. How did you enjoy this, Kevin?
Very much. I really play all kinds of different music on my favorite instrument. So I do anything. I play classical music. I play the Bartok dances.
Cool.
What's it called? Very famous piece from.
Are they the Romanian dances?
Romanian dances,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I played this with Susan Doll, with the organ player, once with piccolo. So this really worked perfectly because I really like the organ. So if you come with an instrument like the Basel piccolo, even in the mid register where it's not very aggressive, it has more timbre or maybe more intensity than the concert flute. So she is able to register very differently. And if you play with flute, she has to play more quiet. So we found out that these two instruments actually work pretty well together.
Cool.
Oh, we should try that.
You can look out for a concert of trios with organ and two Fasnacht piccolos soon.
With trio sonatas by Bach.
Absolutely.
Maybe not Bach.
That's our next project. Stay tuned.
So yeah, maybe we start to use pieces like this for Fasnacht at some point.
Yes, I think it sounds great.
I think it sounds
The
convincing.
music is good, yeah.
It's all about memorizing parts, so people are have lots of work in their cliques because they have a repertoire from maybe 20 to 30 pieces where they have to be able to play memorized.
Do they have to memorize? Do they have to memorize those melodies every year? The new ones?
Depends on your brain. So a dear friend of mine, she's very smart, but she really has not that musical brain than I do. So she actually has to memorize the same pieces every year from the beginning, which is very, very hard to do. And some of the pieces I know since 30 years, I don't have to play this for 2 or 3 years, and it's in your body. The finger knows what they have to do when it starts. So I don't have to practice this music anymore.
I have a last question, maybe. How do you rehearse with this clique, this club, let's say, for people? How do you rehearse? What does that sound like? And also, where do you rehearse?
Haven't you heard passing by some houses?
Yeah, no, I definitely.
Yeah, normally the cliques have a big cellar somewhere in downtown or under a restaurant or in a bigger room on top of a restaurant. So these days, if you walk through Basel on the working days, on every evening between 7 and 10 o'clock, you hear different cliques rehearsing. So the most cliques do this for every year, start after Easter, and meet once a week on one day in a week for practice 1 or 2 hours. The nice thing is that it's a really old tradition, and it's folk music, and it's not professionally played and not professionally rehearsed. So at most cliques, one of the members is doing or running the rehearsals, and maybe do small corrections or tune piccolos on some point where it's really playing badly or sounding badly. But yeah, it's still very, very unprofessional, and I like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It was
You're
great.
very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. See you. Bye.